Thank you. So yeah, my name is Tom Allen. I have worked in digital for about 10 years. Spent most of those 10 years working in B2B. So from wholesale, building supplies, construction, and most recently fire safety. But just over a year ago, I made the switch to non-profit and joined Age UK as one of their first digital product managers in a brand new role. So who are Age UK? So Age UK are the largest charity in the UK focusing on helping older people and people in later life. Now, when we refer to older people, we're talking about people 55 plus. That's our kind of target demographic. So we do this in a number of ways. So we offer services both locally and nationally. So these services can be anything from exercise classes to dementia support groups. We run a few national helplines. Our most prominent is called the Information and Advice Line. So here, anyone can talk to experts for things from pension support to wellbeing concerns. We're also very political, so we campaign and influence policy on local and national levels to improve the lives of older people, those who care for older people, and those who care about older people. Now, something I didn't know until I joined Age UK is that Age UK is what's called a federated charity. So this means that we have Age UK National, who I work for, but Age UK Canterbury, Leeds, Camden, all across England and Wales are independent organisations. They're run by themselves and they just operate under the name of Age UK with us as part of a network. We also work with our sister companies AgeCo, who provide products for older people, and Age International, who do work overseas. So as part of my role as a digital product manager, my specialism is working with that network of our local partners. So I look after the products that we offer them and the products that they in turn offer their users. So this network is currently made up of 124 local partners. Now, as these are all independent organisations, no two are alike. We have organisations that cover the entire county and bring in 15 million a year, to organisations run out of a porta cabin in a council car park run by 2 people. But regardless, all of these organisations so far this year have helped 3.8 million people, both online and offline, to find support that they need for older people. And again, this isn't just older people themselves, but carers, friends and families, anyone with concerns. Digitally, in terms of our national reach, so our main Age UK website last year had 8.4 million visitors looking for support and services for older people, to give you an idea of the scope of our audience. So that's about the charity and how we're set up. What I want to talk about is what is different about a charity digital product compared to a commercial one. The first difference is the competition. Mainly there isn't any. So as we're the largest charity operating in this area and there's a general lack of support for older people, particularly online, we're not fighting with other companies or products to poach their users or to gain more market share for us. There's no benefit to us. Really, it's a really collaborative area. So charities and organisations that do operate in this area, we work with and we signpost to. Equally, other charities on a national scale of a similar size and makeup to us who don't operate in this area, we do a lot of networking with, we do a lot of problem sharing and problem solving. A problem that we've solved, they may now be struggling with and vice versa. It's very, very different from the corporate world that I've come from. Secondly is the money. So with the exception of our kind of donation products and fundraising products, they're not really designed to make money. Really, on paper, they look like financial black holes. This isn't the first time that I've managed products that don't make any profit, but this is the first time it's intentional. Now, when you've got products that don't make money, but still require money, there's a lot of competition for resource. And this isn't competition just between digital products, but every team and department and area in the organisation who needs funds to do the work they want to do. So how do I go and ask for a couple £1,000 for new font design research when I know that same money can fund a programme to help people in poverty pay their winter fuel bills? It's a tough ask. So we need to make sure what we're asking for is valid and we can prove and justify it. So with this limited resource comes greater scrutiny. So historically in previous roles, if the finance team were happy with it, my CEO was happy with it, I had free rein to go and do it. But here I report into about 5 different governance boards or governance in different forms. Because every penny counts. And spending the money or not spending the money in certain areas can have such a profound impact. Finally, the biggest difference is the users. So we are, like I said, the largest people operating in this area. In most cases, when a user comes to us, if we don't get it right and they get turned away, they will not get the support that they need. So we have a responsibility to make sure we are designing products simply and that work really well and are easy to use. Accessibility is something that we should be focusing on regardless of the product, but 45% of people over the state pension age are reported to have some form of disability. So we potentially have a larger percentage of our users who have accessibility needs. So we need to make sure we are designing products that everybody can use. And finally, people don't tend to come to our products when things are going well. They can be looking for support on how to pay for care homes. They could have noticed early dementia signs in one of their parents. They're coming to us in highly stressful and emotional times. So we need to design products empathetically to make sure that we are building them for the least capable, but still advancing the most. So if you've got a product that doesn't make any money, because it's not meant to, has no competition, so you can't benchmark yourself against anyone else, and has a captive audience, so you're not losing users to other products, how do you know it's working? How do you know what you've built is adding value to your organization? The only way is through the user experience. So the only metric that matters is, are we meeting the needs of our users? Now, given some of the challenges that I've expressed before with funding and resources, how do I prove the importance of user experience? It's not something we've really invested in the past. So we need to prove and justify the importance of user experience by doing user experience without really having any money for user experience. So how are we doing this? Firstly, we're governed by users. So as I mentioned before, we have a lot of governance groups. One that we set up are change boards for our specific products. So these change boards are made up of our senior managers, internal stakeholders, invested parties, and arguably most importantly, some of our users. So we have recruited a number of our users from across our network of partners to sit on these boards. These range from CEOs to marketing assistants, from large organisations to small ones, high digital maturity to those less confident digitally. But the one thing they all have in common is that they all use our products. And we are completely transparent with them. We don't hide anything. They are part of the building process with us. So when we collect their feedback and their thoughts and their ideas, we then share that out to the wider user base through our discussion forums and through our online surveys. So we can make sure that we're understanding if what our user representatives are asking for is reflected by the entire user base and not just 10 or so people steering the ship. Because ultimately, the best experts on the users are the users themselves. Another way we're doing this is live usability testing. So when I joined, one of the first things I did is go out and visit some of our users at their local HUKs to understand how they're using our products in their day-to-day jobs. This is quite interesting. One example of this is, like most organisations of our size, we have legacy systems. One of these requires our partners to publish data to the live website. But when they hit publish, it can take up to 15 minutes for that data to sync to the website because this job runs every 15 minutes. So worst case scenario, it's a 15-minute wait. It's not ideal by any means and we're working on fixing it, but we thought it's only 15 minutes. It never occurred to us that our users aren't sat there at their screen for 15 minutes waiting for it to load. Instead, because they're incredibly busy and highly stressed, they will press save and they will go off and do another task immediately. That task can take 40 minutes. They'll come back, check if it's worked, need to make some tweaks, press submit, go off and do another task. That could be an hour and a half. And this can repeats and repeats. So really what should be ideally a 15-minute task all in all can take a couple of hours for them to complete. It just helps remind us that although we are building this product in isolation, the users don't use it in isolation. Finally, with the little money we can scrape together for UX, we are doing retrospective UX projects. So this is where we've released a project, but it hasn't really had any UX work done to it before. We then validly test to see, does the product meet the need of the users? And we then get a list of recommendations and prioritize them based on the user's needs. And this list of priorities then forms a roadmap for us to then set the direction for the product over the next year. Now with these user experience projects, as much as I would love the guys at LION+MASON to come back to me and say, Tom, you've built the perfect product. There are no improvements to make. It's bang on, job done. That would be of absolutely no use to us. Because we need to challenge the assumptions that we've made and our stakeholders have made. So we can prove that despite the years and years of collective experience we have with working with these users, it's no replacement from actually asking the users themselves. So how do we turn this UX into return on investment? And by return on investment, we're not financially driven in that sense for these products. So how do we prove to the organisation that this is adding value? So here are some examples for how we've done that this year. Now this one's my favourite one. So this is something that's cropped up in pretty much every piece of UX work we've done, and it's never been the intended purpose. Older people don't think they're old. So when they've done our testing, they use our products, they see the information and go, yeah, that's really relevant. Or they look at our services and go, yeah, I'd really enjoy that. That'd be right up my street. But the people on the images are all older than me, so I don't think it would apply to me. So we potentially have a huge portion of our user base who are using our products designed for them, who feel a disconnect with the product because they don't see themselves as being that old. Despite the fact, in most cases, they were much older than the people in the photos. So what we've done, we've taken this research, we've shared it with our marketing and branding teams across the network so they can adapt and update their images to better reflect their users, how they perceive themselves, to hopefully get an uptake in service. One thing we've known for a while at Age UK is that our users don't want to fill out online forms, they don't want to send emails when asking for questions. They're time poor and highly stressed. What they want to do is talk to someone. They want to get answers straight away. So most of the CTAs on our websites are prompts to call. Now most of our users are, well, a lot of our users are carers, unpaid carers. So they work full-time jobs, they have parental responsibilities, they run households, and then they have caring for their parents or elderly relatives or friends on top of that. So imagine the scenario, you've done a full day at work, picked your kids up from school, fed them, looked after your elderly mother, come home, collapsed on the sofa because you know you need to research power of attorney. You find Age UK, you come to a local Age UK website, and you call the number at about 5:30. But you get the answer phone message. Because of the limited resource that local Age UK has, they've had to shut at 5. So what we now offer to our network of partners is that when they close at 4, 4:30 or 5, they can have their phone line redirected to our national helpline, which is open from 8 till 7 every single day of the year. So when a user goes through that journey, calls a number, there is someone at the other end of the phone who will help them where they can, and if they can't, they will log that call in an internal system, which will then notify that local partner who will pick up the call the next day and contact them. It's not particularly high tech, it's no AI, it's just something really simple that works really well. Finally, a couple of years ago, we did some UX work on how we categorize the services we offer to make sure that users find them easily and they find what they're expecting to. So something that came up from quite a few participants is that there isn't one place to find everything. Even back then, to find all the services that local Age UK offers, you would have to open every single Age UK website and compare each of them differently. What they wanted was a one-stop shop to find all the services and support that was available to them. Fortunately, we were already building this, And this research helped validate and justify why we're doing this. So in March this year, we launched something called internally known as the local directory. This allows our network of partners to upload the thousands of services that they offer to a data platform, which then publishes it to their local site and to the main Edge UK website. Users can then enter their postcode and find results for every single service on the country, ordered by distance, and can then categorise and filter them. They can also find their local Edge UK shops, information about their local Edge UK head office, and even third-party services. So what our network of partners will do, they'll even signpost to other services and support that might be of benefit to our users. So this can be local GP offices, vetted handy people, or even other charities offering similar services. So this is something that we echo a lot at Edge UK when trying to sell UX. It's some research done by Forrester a couple of years back. To fix a problem in a design process, say it costs £1. To fix that same problem during development will cost you £10. And then to fix that problem once you've released your product will cost £100. So what we're doing with our retrospective UX projects, we're showing where we're going to have to spend the £100 because we've got it wrong. But then with the work we're doing with the users on our governance group and our live interviews, we're showing where we've identified the problem where it still costs £1 and we can still improve it and work on it there. So ultimately, with good UX processes, we can build products that will change our users' lives, improve and increase the knowledge of our internal teams and stakeholders, and save the organisation money. And that is how you build valuable digital products in the charity sector.